Hello. Today, we're going to do a warrior guide. It's about time that I go ahead and follow through with the warrior guide. You guys have been asking for a while. It's taken me a bit to kind of get notes together and just double check a couple things because it's been a minute. So we're going to go over everything here from gear to add-ons to crystals and so on and so forth. I will stay away from PvP for the time being because I feel like most of you guys are probably just looking for a intro to the warrior as a class, and the best way to do that is focus on PVE. So I don't want to overload you guys with too much information, so we'll just keep it simple. So we're gonna start with gear, and then we'll move to BDO in game, and then I'll show you guys some combos and add-ons and whatnot. But let's start with gear. So I'm assuming that you guys are, fresh out of seasonals. You guys got Tuvala gear and everything. You guys want to upgrade your shit. So this is for new players specifically. If you're already past this and you've tagged your character and you have gear, ignore this section. But this is strictly for the seasonal new guys that are coming in and that want to know how to progress their gear. So you're fresh out of seasonals and your goal is to try and build a DR set. Okay, so the DR set is going to be the difference between gear, right? So you have DR and evasion. Warrior isn't really an EVA class, and the current state of the meta is not based in evasion, so you don't want to really utilize that at all. So the gear that you want to focus on is what I show here. So from your seasonal Tuvala stuff, you want to start getting your red nose, you want to get your begs, you want to get your Uragons, and you want to get your pen Griffin helmet. You want to get all of these as soon as you physically can, and then start worrying about caffering your gear. Once you caffer your gear, you're going to start turning these into Fallen God. You're going to get your Don's gloves, and then you're going to turn the helmet into Labresca. If you're on PC, you will turn these into Ator shoes at C10 as well. On console, we do not have these currently, so do not worry too much about this for the time being. Just get your Uragons to C10 and then leave them there for the time being. And for those of you that are unaware, they did give out a Pen Black Star for free, and they also gave out a Vel's Heart for free. And I believe one of the seasonal rewards is a Tet Black Star. So if I were you, I would personally invest either in your pre-awakened Tet Black Star, or you can go for a offhand if you really want to. I went with the offhand because I already had a Tri Black Star for I had this thing, the God Eye. So I have a Tri version, but if you guys don't have that and you guys aren't looking for that, just get a Tet Black Star and it's fine. So once you have this weapon set right here, you're pretty much good to grind anywhere. At 286 AP, you can grind any spot up to Gyfins level. So once you get to underground Gyfins, this right here, you're more than adequate to grind that spot without any issues whatsoever. So from that point, once you get to your C10 and everything and all your gear is settled and you've got your Fallen God, you want to start changing your accessories up. So your accessories are super simple and super easy. This right here is what I would consider best in slot for warrior. The other exception would be a Tet Debo earring. This right here would be best in slot for warrior if you really wanted to, obviously at pen, but if you get them at Tet, it's more than fine. All you care about is the 3-set Debo. It's already been proven that the AP difference between a Tet and pen 3-set Debo set is not going to change anything. Like there's a small percent damage that goes up, and it's almost not even worth it for the most part. Just get yourself the 3-set, and then whenever we get the rings, just get your 5-set and then done. Which leads me to my next subject here, rings. So we're just going to go back to the Narc because Narcs are going to be the easiest to obtain. A Debo earring is very difficult to get because on console we don't have Dekia and we don't have the tools to really get consistent Debo earrings. So for the most part, you guys are going to be stuck with Narcs unless you are mega sweating for earrings. So as for rings, all you're going to want is just get your Jatina Pen Crescents and then just leave them at Pen Crescents. Don't even change it to anything else. I don't care what anybody tells you. Do not get Tongrad rings. Do not get Ominous rings. Do not get Eye of the Ruins. The reason being is that when Debo rings come out, you're going to swap to these. It doesn't matter. And in the grand scheme of things, you're going to have to sell these. These are not going to be useful at all. So you can spend more money. Like 2 of these bad boys is going to run you 100 bill. So 50 bill for 1, and then you're going to have to get 2 of them. Forget it. Just get the cheap crescents. These are going to cost 20 bill. And then at some point you can swap these later to Narcs, and then you could sell the Narcs that you had originally bought, which these will sell because for a while and at a starting point, people are always going to need at least a Narc at some point. So at least Narcs are more likely to sell than an Eye of the Ruins or an Ominous or a Tongrad. I mean, Tongrads might sell, but for the most part, I would argue that just keep the crescents and then invest in pen narcs and then sell the pen narcs at a later time whenever you get Devo rings. So for those of you that don't know, the Jatina questline pens, you can swap those at any given time. I think you can swap them 3 or 5 times or some shit like that. So all you have to do is just sit with these until Devo rings come out and then swap them to narcs and then sell your narcs later. Boom, instant like 60 bill. It's an investment that's going to happen later down the line. And then you'll have 60 bill to play with the narcs, and then you can invest that into a Devo earring. Hopefully by then they're sitting on the market and you can buy a Tet Devo earring on the market, and then you could eventually buy 1 Tet Devo earring and then rebuy a pen narc, and then boom, you got your 3 set Devo right here, and then you've got your Devo rings like this, and then look at that. You got yourself a 5 set Devo, and you're looking at 317 AP. If you swap this to a Fiery Nuver, and then we Kafra this to C20, you are looking at 332 AP. You are hard cap now. I wouldn't say hard cap, but like you are pretty fucking close to hard cap. So that is your path forward. I wouldn't stray too far from this. I would just, again, stick with crescents for the time being until Devos, and that is it. That is all you really need to do. To touch on artifacts, there's going to be 2 artifact sets that I would prefer you guys to run as a warrior player. So we're going to talk about a couple of them. So for Gyfins and for trolls or Olins or any spot that's based in back attacks, you are going to run one of 2 different sets here. You're going to either run Vicious Shadows if you are lucky enough to have a strike, and if you don't have a strike, you're going to run the entry level version, which is going to be Behind the Shadow, which will give you AP, accuracy, some stamina. Stamina is kind of whatever, the warrior doesn't use it, and additional back attack damage plus 5%. And then for those of you that are very lucky and you guys again still have the strike, target openings is going to be best in slot for every other spot in the game. So if you're not worried about back attacks at all, then target openings is going to be the best in slot for warrior. As for crystals, this is going to be super simple. So we're going to start here. General PVE and down, these are going to be the crystals that you're going to work with. So this is generalized PVE for spots that don't require back attacks. 4 Macalods, 2 Alukas, 2 Decimations, 2 Rebellious, 2 Corrupteds, 2 Acrids, 1 Valor, 1 Gurren's Tear, and that's it. For Gyfins/Trolls, it's the exact same crystal build, except you swap the Corrupteds for Mysterious Darkness for the back attacks. This is what I was telling you about, you run Vicious Shadows or you run Behind the Shadows, and then you run this, it's like 24% back attack with both Crystal Darkness crystals. Huge, absolutely massive. Not only that too, but Decimations also give back attack damage. So in general, we just excel extremely well at back attack spots. And then if you guys are grinding, let's say Giants, Castle Ruins, Bloody Monastery, any spot that is based in humans, where the mobs are considered humans, you want to run human damage like 2 Vipers, 2 Karmes, 2 Alukas crystals, and then you're going to maintain 2 Acrids, 2 Corrupted, 2 Decimations, 1 Valor, 1 Gurren, and 2 Rebellious. That's all you're going to really have. And then for high end of PvE, this is for places such as Crypt. This is kind of a difficult one because you're sacrificing a lot of damage for survivability, which sucks. But that's what we have to do, especially if you're kind of on the gearlit side of things. You're going to need this anyway. So Crypt, you're going to need some accuracy. So you're going to have to run Jin Vipers. You're going to have to run Elcars. And then for survivability, you're going to have to run these black magic crystal armors because the mobs there, they stun and they stiff a lot. So if you're not running resistances, you're going to get basically stun locked to death, which is why you run calc elixirs over there. You run a full elixir rotation, and then you run these crystals here. So that way you don't get stunned into, death. It's literally just touch of death. If you get stunned at all, there's a good chance they'll stun you again and you will just instantly get shit on. So you're going to need to run these. It's absolutely mandatory. And then the rest of the crystals are just the same as always. 2 Acrids, 1 Gurren, 2 Decimations, 1 Valor, 2 Rebellious, 2 Corrupteds, and then your accuracy and your armor crystals. Those are going to be the only things that you're going to run at Crypt. If you have enough gear and you're super tanky and you don't feel the need to run these, then you could swap some of this out. Like if you feel like you're not getting stunned or stiffed a lot and you're good at dodging it, or you're good at staying behind the mobs, you could swap these out for more damage if you want to. If you have accuracy accessories such as ominous rings, or you have dawn earrings, or whatever your accuracy is, if you have a way to gain accuracy, then you can remove the Elcars and you can put more damage in. And then same thing goes for Jin Vipers. If you can get rid of them, put more damage in. Pretty much the more gear you have, if you have accuracy, remove crystals. If you need accuracy, put in crystals. That's kind of, you know, the baseline here. And yeah, that should be pretty much everything. Let's move to the actual game now, and I'll go over some combos and we'll talk about add-ons. All right, we are in game now. So for combos, it's going to be super simple. But I guess before we do that, actually, let me just swap over here. So let's talk about skill add-ons. These are the skill add-ons that I currently am running here. Let me just move this shit out the damn way. Okay, there you go. So these are the skill add-ons. Super simple, super easy. All of this flows together. This is the Warrior Discord add-ons, and this is what I've been using for, I think, months now, almost a year. And this is, I've never seen anything wrong with these. These are pretty much my add-ons in general for the most part. As for lock skills, we're going to keep it simple. Knee kick, this is the only skill you want to lock for PVE. You don't really need this under any circumstance. I've seen people use it. It's a bit sweaty, unnecessary, not something a new player or an entry-level warrior is going to worry about. So just lock this. For your core skill, you're going to run one of two things. You could run core frenzied strikes or core merciless if you want a protected opener. I personally think frenzied is infinitely better, but I have seen warriors run merciless. It's okay. I would say frenzied makes more sense. As for other lock skills, charging slash, lock that. Down here, you're going to lock ultimate ground smash. We don't use this in PvE or PvP at all. In Succession, we do. In PvE for Awakening, hell no. And then for the Magnus skill, I do not use this skill at all. I think it's really bad for Warrior. In Awakening, it just gets in the way of a few things. You're going to have to lock it and put it on a hotbar. I'd rather just use Deep Thrust. It just doesn't, I don't like this ability. It's just a preference thing. You can fit this into your combo if you want to, but again, you have to do it off the hotbar. And I have my hotbar a specific way for a reason. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like Severing Thrust. It's not for me. That is a preference thing. I also don't fit it into any combo at all. It fucks with everything. So I just don't care. It's just not for me. And then absolute shield strike, you're going to go ahead and lock that. And then you're going to lock these three skills: shield counter, smash, and furious blow. And then you want to lock shield push. Don't get it confused with shield charge, because I've seen warriors confuse these two together where they lock this by accident, and just because the skill kind of looks a little, you know, similar. So just lock the shield push. Do not lock shield charge. You need shield charge. This is core warrior movement. Do not lock that, just lock the shield push. And then of course, lock evasion, and that's it. For rebombs, I use frenzied spear, shield tide, counter slash. That's pretty much it. Frenzied Spear is good for movement, Shield Tide's also good for movement and protections, and Counter Slash is a forward guard flow that you can use out of Frenzied Spear. So for example, if I throw a Frenzied Spear, no protection, hold RB, you gain a little bit of a forward guard. You could also do that out of Shield Tide too. So if you wanted to extend your forward guard in Shield Tide, you could do that. So for example, if we wanted to use Shield Tide, we do, let's just get a little bit of, so 1, 2, hold RB, and you see we'll get a little bit of an extension on the forward guard. That is the only reason I use the third one. By no means is the third one actually useful, so don't get like the wrong idea. It's really not useful, but like, yeah. And then from that point forward, let's talk about the combo now. So we're gonna go specifically over the Gyfins combo, and I'm gonna break it down very simply, okay? So you're gonna do armor break, which is just hold the block button, press A, boom, right there. Super simple, super easy, okay? From armor break, you're gonna do back RT, which is gonna do merciless. You're gonna do both hits, okay? So all together, armor break, merciless. From here, you're gonna do solar flare, balance strike, hilt strike, and then hold it, and then it's gonna go into heaven's cleave. So forward RB, forward RT, and just hold it, and it'll just flow into the other skills very quickly. So one more time, armor break, merciless, solar flare, hold for balance strike, and then you just go into the flows. So once again, if you do balance strike, you'll see that it flows out of hilt strike, and then when we go to chain heaven's cleave right here, so it'll say you hold B or you press RT or hold RT after hilt strike, and it'll flow into heaven's cleave. So again, you're just doing balance strike and hold forward RT, and it'll immediately go into the rest of the kit. So one more time, 1, 2, oop, oop, and that's it. That is your first half of your PVE combo. So once you've mastered that and you've got that down, which shouldn't take you very long because it's quite literally just flows. It's just holding buttons down. That's all you're really doing. After you do that, you're going to immediately go into frenzied strikes. So you're going to do this, and then you're going to go into grave digging. And then from grave digging, you're going to go slashing behind the mobs for Gyfins. And then all you're gonna do is just utilize your overwhelm into reckless. So you're gonna do this, and then you do ankle break, pulverized tempest. Mob should be dead. So I'll go ahead and put that on screen for you real quick. What that should look like and how quickly you can kill the mobs with less than ideal AP. And there you go. And that should be pretty much as simple as it gets. You can loop that in whatever way that you want. There's a few things that you should understand about Warrior and its combos is that the core combo is always going to be ankle break, pulverized tempest. This is going to be pretty much your ender and your core, and your biggest damage is going to come from grave digging and slashing. These are going to be your biggest damage abilities. So you want to find a way to link those together, and they always flow together too. So whenever you're doing, let's say, grave dig, slashing, and then you do reckless, and then you can flow immediately to ankle break, pulverized tempest, all of that shit flows together super well. So as long as you find a way to get into that and then loop that over and over, like there's tons of ways that you can do it. There's a variety of ways you can freestyle on Warrior with the combo. It's just experimentation, but overall the loopable combo that I gave you is enough for pretty much every spot in the game that requires you to long combo somebody. And then for places like Giants or Sakraya where you're having to grind a bit slower, or not necessarily slower, but you're able to kill mobs really quickly, you're basically breaking that combo up. So for Sakraya, for example, I will do something like this where I'll just boom, 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 and then bam, mobs will probably die, and then I'll go to the next pack, and then I'll go over here, and I'll just armor break, and I'll do ankle break, pulverized tempest, and then grave dig. All right, cool. Save that, go to the next pack, and then once again do the exact same thing, and then just use slashing as the finisher, and then just keep, you're just basically rotating between a few different sets of abilities that will allow you to do as much damage. Again, understanding what abilities is your damage is the biggest thing. So again, slashing, grave digging, reckless, ankle break, pulverized tempest. Those are your damaging abilities. So as long as if you're killing a pack with just like, let's say, slashing and grave digging, the next pack you're gonna kill the pack with reckless, pulverized tempest, and then the next pack you're gonna swap back to the same thing where you're gonna do grave digging, slashing, and then when you go to the next pack you're gonna do the same thing where you go back to reckless, ankle break, pulverized tempest. Next pack you're gonna go back over here, and then you're gonna go immediately into grave digging, slashing, and if they're not dead, do ground smash. Just you're rotating between your damaging abilities in the packs that are very squishy. And that is Warrior in a nutshell. Super simple, super easy. Sorry the video was a bit lengthy. I didn't want to leave you guys without any kind of information or with a lack of information. I wanted to make sure you guys understood literally everything from a PvE standpoint. So I'll try and put little notations on the screen for you guys in the combo, and I'll also try and timestamp this in case so that way you guys aren't looking around for specific parts that you need, maybe add-ons or crystal builds or gear help or combo assistance, whatever it is. That's I'll put some notations somewhere, that way you guys can find everything as according. But that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you guys have any extra information or anything to offer in the comments, by all means, go for it, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.